like to call to order the Senior Resident Advisory Committee, April 13th, 2026. Can I have a roll call, please?
Miss Bennett,
Present.
Mr. Blatto,
Is excused.
Miss Burdu,
Present.
Miss Jordan, Mr. Feeney,
Present.
Miss Reich,
Present.
Miss Williams,
Present.
Miss Zizek,
Present.
Councilmember Boyer.
Present.
The pledge will be led by Mary in honor of her day.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need approval of the agenda for this evening.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okey-dokey. I need the approval of the minutes for the March 9th. I need
I make a motion for the approval for the minutes for March 9th.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. No comment out there. Do we have a senior affair update?
Yes, so in total, we had 175 attendees and we had overall 52 vendors for this year.
Okay. That's a,
And Kara, how did that compare to last year?
Last year, we had around 200 attendees, so a little bit with the weather, so I was okay with that. And then last year, we had 32 vendors.
Have any particular feedback, like consistent feedback from anybody?
Yes, the most consistent that was coming back was the layout. Everybody enjoyed that I wasn't obviously here last year, but what I heard from the feedback was it felt like a straight line last year versus this year. They were able to kind of move around more and go any direction. So they really liked somewhat of the open floor plan.
So I heard people with wheelchairs though and walkers had a hard time getting through. So
Which would make sense with the tables, because with having that space, we originally set up for 40 and then added vendors as we were taking them in. So definitely something to consider for next year.
thank you.
I might mention that I had great positive feedback on the layout of everything, and everyone loved coming there and how the parking worked out really well for them. The vendors like to be able to park in the back and bring their things in the back. That way they weren't mingling, they weren't interfering with the people coming, So they really liked it. Yeah.
anybody else?
I also thought the gentleman that was there volunteering at the center was wonderful. Anything we needed. So I thought the location was really good, and having the music that was not quite as overwhelming to everything, I thought worked really well too.
Anybody else?
Kara, did we get thank you notes out to the vendors yet?
Yes, those have already went out. And I also did send Mr. Ken one as well.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving right along. Jennifer, would you like to talk about the library?
Yes, I left one by everyone's place so they knew. It's a new little event that the St. Charles City County Library is doing. It's called Senior Social Hour, and they've already done a few of them, just started this in April at different branches. It's just supposed to be conversation, topics of interest for seniors. There's light refreshments provided. It's recommended for ages 55 and over. recommended, sorry. But you don't have to be over 55. But she did recommend that people go on to the stcharleslibrary.org website to register, just so they know how many people to expect. And it looks like the next one is at the Corporate Parkway branch on Tuesday, April 14th at 10 a.m. And then there's one at the McClay branch on Thursday, April 23rd at 2 p.m. But earlier this month, they did do one at the MK branch, the Catherine Linneman branch, and the Kisker Road branch. So there should be information in May and June and future months on the website. And again, that's stcharleslibrary.org. And you go on there and you go to the events tab, and it's called Senior Social Hour.
Mr. Conan, would you like to talk to us about Citizens First?
Thank you, folks, for having me. Conan Stott with Citizens First here at City Hall. And just to remind you that Citizens First can certainly assist any senior callers we have. We can direct them to the proper agencies. If they come in, we'll talk with them. Telephone calls, we can get them to our CDBG department for more information. We can send them to or give them information on how to contact other agencies. Calls we get from seniors in town may include how to get in touch with the DMV, St. Charles County, the assessor's office, Social Security offices. We have all that information over in Citizens First on phone numbers, web addresses, things like that. So we can certainly, I dropped a card off for each one of you. Have anyone that would have a question of you, send them to us, have them call us, have them email us. We can certainly help them in getting to the right area, whether if it's here at City Hall or if it's outside of City Hall, an agency outside of City Hall. We can certainly get them going in that direction, and we'll spend as much time as we have to in helping them out. So, and if you have any questions about any of this, certainly give us a call up here. Any questions on that? Sure.
Do you have any transportation? Because I know a lot of seniors have a hard time with transportation. Do you have any resources in that area?
We do, and Melissa will talk about that when she comes up, but that's some of the information that we direct them to if they call up here. She has detailed information on that. Sometimes we can direct them down to the senior center if they have questions about the senior center and activities going on down there. But we have a wealth of information up here at City Hall that we can get them to. So
Thank you.
Sure. I'll turn it over to them.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Want to move on? Okay, Melissa and Tony. Where's Tony?
All right. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight about community resources and programs that could benefit our seniors. As some of you may know, I am the Public Assistance Specialist for the city and work in the Grants and Assistance Office, administering programs and services that are federally funded through the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. And these programs and services we offer provide opportunities for low to moderate income households, those with disabilities, and seniors. We provide programs like our home repair programs, which offers grants and loans for eligible interior, exterior, and mobile home repairs. An emergency homeless prevention program, which provides financial assistance for mortgage, rent, and utilities to prevent foreclosure, eviction, and shutoffs. And a transportation program that provides transportation to non-emergency medical appointments within St. Charles County. Residents may qualify for the transportation program by one of three ways: by age, being at least 62 years of age, or by income, or by disability. The program itself provides 18 one-way, which equals 9 round-trip rides to use throughout the year for those appointments, and those are at no cost to the participant. We also offer a down payment assistance program that provides up to $10,000 for down payment and closing cost assistance for home buyers purchasing a home in O'Fallon. Any questions about any of those programs? Okay.
Anybody else?
Hi, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
The home repair program,
Mhm.
that's based on a loan, correct?
So the interior is structured as a 5-year interest-free forgivable home loan up to $75. So that stipulates that the homeowner stays in the home during that 5-year time period. If they do move, transfer ownership, or borrow against the equity in their home during that 5-year time period, they are subject to repayment of the amount that they have borrowed. If after the 5-year time period, they still remain in the home, the loan is forgiven. The exterior and the mobile home programs are structured as grants, one-time grants. The exterior is up to $10,000 and the mobile home is structured up to $3,000. And those do not have any repayment requirements with those.
Okay, so my son actually contacted your office
Oh, awesome.
in reference to this,
Yeah.
and he was told that he would have to repay this.
If he moved or transferred ownership or borrowed against the equity in the home, he would. But if he remained in the home during that 5-year time period, there is no repayment requirement. So I
Okay.
apologize for any confusion about that, but
Well, he read the fine print in there, and it doesn't say that in the City of O'Fallon's website.
it should talk about, it probably doesn't talk about the specifics as far as like the repayments. A lot of the information in the actual application does specify that. Of course, we're available to answer questions to help individuals if they have questions about those. They're welcome to call the office or stop by. It's also in the final paperwork that they fill out. When they get approved into the program, we go over that as well at that time. Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, so how do they apply for any of those grants? So I know someone who needs they're in a mobile home and they're seniors and they need skirting work.
Yeah, so our applications are available online. If they do anticipate needing assistance filling out those online applications, they're welcome to give us a call, bring the required documentation into City Hall, and we can fill out the application with them together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you have transportation.
Mhm.
It's a big subject for me, by the way.
Yes, it's a big need.
It is a really big need. So what are the requirements for that, for someone to be able to qualify for transportation?
So they may qualify by one of 3 ways: by age, being at least 62 years of age, or by income, or by disability. And then, of course, they do have to be a resident of O'Fallon.
I just want to know what the income is.
So it depends on household size. So usually, like for a 2-person household, the max is $71,300. So they have to be at or below that amount. So it just depends on.
Yeah, I agree. I think you.
And those income limits do increase every year as well. So
I'm sorry, what was the third one? It was age and income and
disability. So HUD definition of disability is a little bit looser than like the Social Security disability is. So pretty much it's any disability that impacts their life. So, if they have difficulty walking or things of that nature that may not necessarily qualify for Social Security disability, but they would qualify under the 504 HUD definition.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh,
We
I've
appreciate
got more.
Oh, good.
And there's more. So as Conan was speaking, Citizens First is usually the first point of contact for residents that call or come into City Hall. As he mentioned, they are a liaison between residents and city services. They can assist residents with resources both internally and externally. If they are unable to find a resource, they can connect the resident with the Grants and Assistance Office or 211, which I'll speak about in just a moment. The city is also a participating member of the Community Council, and the Community Council brings people, organizations, resources together to strengthen the human services system across St. Charles, Lincoln, and Warren counties. They're the backbone organization for the Tri-County Continuum of Care, which coordinates efforts across those 3 counties to help neighbors access resources and opportunities. Through 211, coordinated entry, and partnerships with more than 100 agencies, they can quickly connect residents with the resources and supportive services. Some of you may already know about 211, but for those of you that don't, or any of our viewers, 211 is operated through United Way and the coordinated entry to provide a centralized access to assistance, case management for those experiencing homelessness or housing crises. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They can assist with finding resources such as food, transportation, utility, rent, mortgage assistance, home health care, meals, Medicare, Medicaid, et cetera. And then when calling 211, it's pretty simple. They just put in their zip code so they know what area to focus on. And then they follow the prompts to select the category they're seeking assistance for. So there's usually just 3, 1, 2, or 3.
Question.
Yes.
On the people that you're referring, is there
Mhm.
background checks on these companies or not? Like if they needed home health or someone to come into their home?
I imagine that they would, yes. And so a lot of these partnering agencies, they do sign up to be a part of that. So they're legitimate.
I have one more question. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So I actually used this twice this week, this 211,
Mhm.
for 2 homeless women. Okay, they don't have zip codes, so they couldn't go through any of the prompts.
Okay.
Is there another direction?
So they do, if it's an option, they do also have a website, or they can certainly reach out to Grants and Assistance and I can connect them with those resources. So they do have that online resource directory. So if they, they can call me and I can walk them through that. And then that will provide some of the similar resources. 211 has an online resource. The coordinated entry has an online resource as well. So there are other ways to connect besides not having that zip code. Okay.
Yeah, because they used my phone because they had no phone.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Meaning that they don't have the internet at the same time. So
Right.
somehow we need to fix these issues.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Would people just enter the zip code of the area in which they're wanting to have the resources provided?
It's where they live. So the area in which they live.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually had 2 seniors that stopped by this week or last week seeking assistance for legal services, pulled up that online directory and was able to provide them with some, now granted, not everybody on that list applies to that appropriate situation, but it is a good starting point. So when in doubt, they can always call me at Grants and Assistance or Michelle, our Public Assistance Coordinator, and we can try to connect them with the help that they need for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can someone call for them? I mean, and they can be with you because both these women lived in their cars.
Okay. Yeah, they can come in and we can sit down and we can walk through that hand in hand. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They might ask, personal information. They usually would share their story. So they would, of course, need to speak with those case managers. But the point is for them to not have to keep reliving that trauma by telling that story over and over again to multiple different people, so they can work with a specific case manager and just have to share their situation one time.
But they do have shelters listed or open, or how do you find out if there's openings in those shelters? Because usually they're full.
Yes, and the shelter, like the Salvation Army, they did close their doors, so that is no longer a shelter for St. Charles County. So, some of the resources are quite limited. Some of them are outside of the area. I know that sometimes they have to refer people to Lincoln County or Warren County, which can be difficult because their livelihood is here. So I know that they do the best that they can to try to connect people with the resources that they have available. I know that there's one up in Troy, there's Bridges of Hope. So they're trying to connect to them with what they have available. Yeah.
So
It
does
is.
the city of O'Fallon have a shelter?
No, we do not.
Okay.
The Salvation Army that is in O'Fallon, they shuttered their doors in 2024 and have not reopened as a homeless shelter. So they are a medical facility now. So that was the only shelter we had in O'Fallon, unfortunately.
Anybody else? Sure.
Do you know how many calls we get from the seniors calling in for these services? Because we were talking, one of the things we pushed forward was having some kind of volunteer worker that was taking in these calls. And as we were talking, we were discussing how we already had a lot of these services already being rendered. So I just wanted to see, how often is this? Is it overwhelming if we push people to call more? Is there a concern there or not?
No, we get maybe a handful of calls a week. You know, a lot of our calls are about like our home repair program and our transportation program. So a lot of the calls that we get are specifically the grants and assistance calls. But we are always, you know, if people have other questions, they're certainly welcome to give us a call. So last week, I did have the 2 that stopped by that needed legal assistance. So we do get them, but it's not an overwhelming amount. If that,
Awesome.
if
Thank
that
you.
answers.
That answers.
Okay.
Unless you have numbers. I don't know if you guys track the numbers that come in categories or not.
I can get some for you if you'd like.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Anybody else?
Just a quick question for me. Do you think we're not getting the word out enough
As far as
your
what-
resources and what we do, and maybe there's something different we can do to make sure that people are learning more about what you offer?
I think that we do, and I know Tony's going to speak a little bit more about some enhanced efforts to bring more awareness about that. But I think as far as the city, we do. Yeah. I know the community council are very big, that are out in the community with different events and outreach and things like that. So I think it's there.
Okay, so this is a reach, but how would we go about opening that shelter or getting a homeless shelter in O'Fallon?
It would depend. So a lot of that would have to, of course, look at locations and what's available. There's like planning codes, funding. That's also a big concern, is, you know, funding that will be sustainable. So especially, you know, with federal programs, a lot of the funding is uncertain. So having a secure funding source would also be something to look at. So I know the Continuum of Care was reaching out, say in November-ish, once the weather started to get cooler and they had the emergency weather response open, that they were trying to find ways to open a shelter, trying to raise funds to do that. So that is something that the Continuum of Care and the Community Council are very actively trying to do. I'm sorry?
Continuing care.
Continuum of Care, the Tri-County Continuum of Care. Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else? Nope. I
Okay.
guess you can turn it over to Tony. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Get out of here.
Good evening. My name is Tony Machalka. I am the communications director for the city. So it's a pleasure to be here before you this evening. I want to talk about a few things communications wise that are kind of ongoing, standing things for senior residents here in O'Fallon, and also a couple of new things we've kind of enhanced. We're going to kind of always try new things to see if they reach and are working. And I don't have specifically in this presentation anything about grants and assistance. To, I think your question was, what are we doing? So I can just kind of address that now. You'll see in the quarterly newsletter magazine that goes out to every mailbox in the city, there's usually one dedicated page listing out all of those programs that we have. There's a web page for grants, and then a sub page for each program that itemizes everything on there. It goes out, information goes out when funding becomes available for different programs in the e-newsletter every Friday via email. We run television PSA ads on OFallonTV, on YouTube, on social media. And I know currently the TV folks that are sitting behind you in the control room there have these programs running on the bulletin board with what funding comes available. Mel and her team, they do a great job of Getting the funding in from HUD, as you can imagine, coming from a federal government, is not easy to secure. Almost every year, the federal government either threatens to pull the funding, or this past year it did strip funding, and through varying efforts, we're able to get that funding put back into the 2026 budget. Funding allocation just came through this past week or two ago, so we have funding now. We're usually always a year behind in the funding. We just got 26 funding, and we're almost halfway through the year now. 2027 right now is zeroed out. So all the advocacy groups, associations will continue their efforts this year to try to secure funding for 2027 moving forward. So we can only do, and Mel and her team can only do what they can when the funding's available, and they make it last. And we're talking for funding somewhere in the ballpark, I want to say 340,000 this coming next year. So as you'd imagine, if you allocate 100,000 of that to exterior home repair, close to that for interior mobile home, and then you're left with how much for transportation. So it's kind of like, what do we use the funding for? Where's the greatest need? And we try to spread that around and make it sustainable. For transportation, that funding has taken a hit over the past few years from the federal government. And coupled with that is also the increased need for transportation. So we're lowering funding and increasing need. So Mel and her team did an excellent job last year of sustaining that funding. So reworked the program, retooled what you were able and qualified for, how many trips would be allotted, because what we did not want to do was use up the funding in the first 4 months of the year and then have to shutter the doors per se to anybody else. Other agencies around the St. Louis area did that, and they were just out of funding. And sorry, come back and see us next year when funding comes in. The city of O'Fallon sustained, because of the changes made, kept the program running all year with a little bit of money rolled over into this year. Now we got our funding for this year, so we'll have the program running. So I think there's always more you want to do, but I think what this team behind me does do, they do a phenomenal job for the residents. So let me get in now to hopefully the fun part here. Just got a few quick slides, I think 8 that I want to show you. This right here is the seniors information page. This page is housed under services and then under residential services. So you'll find everything on here on this page. And right up top here, you have a link and phone number to Citizens First and Aging Ahead, who handles the programming and transportation at O'Fallon Senior Center. And then 211 information is right there on top for other resources, along with Meals on Wheels, our transportation program through CDBG office, the veterans. And then you'll see we also house information on here that's timely. That's part of what's going on right now. The senior fair information was on here at the time. Right now, you'll see just at the very bottom of the screenshot, the utility tax rebate, which will begin that 1st of May next month. And then here's just a little bit farther down, more information on the O'Fallon Senior Center, and then transportation of how you get to the Senior Center are all housed on here. And this pretty much stays on here with little variant updates if the programs change all year round. The Senior Resident Advisory Committee, you guys have your own page as well. So here's a screenshot of that. When the meetings occur, you can click on the meeting agenda and get the current meeting. It would take you to the link there. And then an application down at the very bottom there for more. If anybody's interested in participating, they can do so all right through here to get to the clerk's office. All right, a couple of the fun things. So every week I mentioned earlier, we send out e-newsletter every Friday around 11 o'clock in the morning. We send this out, and currently this e-newsletter goes to almost 8,800 email inboxes every Friday. This is separate from the email that Volunteer Services sends out for volunteers, separate from the Renaud Center, and separate from Economic Development. This is all citywide information here. Every week it comes out. And one of the new fun things that we just started a couple weeks ago was what we call the Senior Scoop. So not every edition of the newsletter had something pertaining to what senior residents may be looking for information-wise. It just kind of depended on what was available, what recreation program Craig's team was putting out there, different things like that. But we decided we're going to create a senior scoop, just a small section in every e-newsletter that will be dedicated to seniors. So whether or not that will be a video playing this meeting here, whether or not that is one of the Senior Seminar Institute videos in there, an advertisement for an upcoming one, we will always find something that's pertaining to our senior residents. This was last week's edition. We have an advertisement for Recreations Department's new river walking program at Alligators Creek. And earlier today, I did check. Last Friday's edition of the newsletter, this was the most clicked link for programming. So when you look at the analytics, this got more attention for people wanting to sign up for this than it did any other program throughout the city that's in here. I'm not saying that other things aren't, but in this newsletter for sure. Our newest thing here, you see the OFallonTV schedule. So this is tomorrow's schedule. So we schedule out our OFallonTV Spectrum 991 channel 24 hours a day. You can go onto the website and watch video on demand. You can watch it live or watch any program we have up there. But you'll notice a little star here next to the 7 o'clock a.m. hour. Senior Seminar, Palliative Care is going on. So that's one we recorded from the Senior Seminar. We are starting a new thing called Seniors at 7 on the TV. So every morning at 7 a.m., we will have senior programming. Again, it may be a meeting once or twice a week. It may be a senior seminar. It may be and filled with advertisement and things like that. But we're trying to set aside a time every day that seniors will know, that one demographic will know, hey, I'm going to get my information. I'm going to watch this. When is it on? It's Seniors at 7. So spread the word. One last avenue here is the magazine that we put out. This goes out quarterly. So we hit almost 50,000 mailboxes here with this magazine 4 times a year. So this is the cover of the most recent spring edition. And on the inside here, every quarter, I should say, the senior residents have a dedicated page of this. So 75% of this magazine, we either do a 40-page or a 48-page magazine. 75% of this magazine goes to recreation and programming for the Renaud Center and other activities going on. So the other 25% is split up between all city events. So seniors always gets a 1-page thing in here, and it will go with whatever is the most relevant, most current programming. You can see this last one. We almost always have the senior center information, times and hours, contact information, senior seminar, upcoming things. The utility tax rebate was in this one, and then an ad for silver sneakers. So obviously the next one that comes out about June-ish won't have the utility tax rebate in there. We can drop the senior sneakers, and that's also advertised on the rec guide side. But what we're planning on doing on this one is dedicating at least half of a page to a page and a half to seniors, which will include the 211 and community council information that Melissa just spoke about. So looking at some of those things in there, we want to be able to highlight a little bit more that's online and put it right here in print, because not everybody either goes online, has access online, but print, again, it goes to O'Fallon mailboxes, and you can pick up a copy here at City Hall or the Renaud Center of one of the magazines, but we'll have at least a page and a half of senior information, and at least of that, a good portion will be the community council 211 information. The second photo here is actually the back cover. So this is the front cover. This is the back cover here. And we started with a new design, having like an advertisement on the back. We've had numerous different things, but we've talked about what do we need for the back cover. We're going to dedicate the back cover here to the community council 211 information as well. And what this will do, we will use this section to call out the page number. So for instance, if it's page 10, see page 10 for more information, but also you'll have about 2/3, if at least half, if not 2/3 of this back cover that will serve as an informational graphic piece for 211. And what that does is if somebody wants to lay this magazine on their coffee table in their house or at their business, right? It could be cover up, which whatever fun photo it is, but also if it's on the reverse on the back side, that information is readily available as a second cover. So you don't even really need to look inside. Of course, you can look inside on page 10 or whatever it is for the real details, but you'll get a lot of the information right here on the back cover, as opposed to just a kind of a basic advertisement. So those are some of the, I would say, cool and neat things we're trying to do. Communications is a beast of its own, where sometimes you throw some things out there and you really hope, like, you kind of got to watch the analytics, like what's really going to pick up. I know Craig can attest to that when they do programming, like, hope this works. Some do, some don't. You got to look at what does. And if they work, we'll continue to do it. If they don't, we'll continue to reinvent the wheel and try to get it out there as best we can. So that's all I have. So any
Anybody have
questions?
questions?
No, thank you very much.
You got one?
If I'm not cool enough yet to sign up for the newsletter, how would I do that?
Oh, that's a great question, Mr. Boyer. If you go to our website, OFallonMO.gov, at the very top, there's a button to sign up for the e-newsletter. Just click that, enter your information, email address, name, all that kind of stuff, and it will automatically put it into the hopper. And then on Friday, you'll get an email at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Excellent. So I don't have to actually be cool to be part of the crew.
I think if you sign up and you get it, that is cool. That's the definition of cool. All right. Thank you, guys.
We thank you, Tony, and it's great to see you again. All right, I would like to ask everybody to honor Mary. She has gotten a special award from the Lieutenant Governor, and it has to do with volunteering. And she has been nominated and she won the award. I just like everybody to praise her and thank her. All right, we're going to move on to the last end of the world. Here we go. We have to elect a chair and an assistant chair. All those want to give anybody a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Mike as the chairperson.
Okay.
Do I have a
anybody
second?
else?
I second that.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we're going for the assist chair.
I'd like to nominate Mary.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 The order has carried, everything is carried over. Okay. And I would like to thank everybody for coming this evening and help us understand and help the world understand what's going on in our city. I know that it's a difficult time. We have a lot of things going on. And I do miss Tony when he was a communication officer. So I appreciate him an awful lot. And now I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 I have to do that for them.